Support for this podcast comes from Goldman Sachs. What do Goldman Sachs experts and leading thinkers have to say about trends shaping markets, industries, and the global economy? Stay informed with the latest insights from Goldman Sachs on the economic and market implications of COVID-19. Available on our podcasts at gs.com/COVID-19 or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
Empire. Not everyone gets to make millions playing sports.
To invest in opportunities for the underprivileged, right? And so seeing that and seeing how I can make, a difference in who I'm investing in, the platforms I'm investing in.
That's Baron Davis, former NBA star turned sports tech entrepreneur whose latest venture is meant to help all families who grew up like him but didn't have the skill to eventually cash in on the court. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. Baron Davis got turned on to investment when he was playing and he had a hit in vitamin water. The money he made ties to a world where managers and agents didn't have to help him build his wealth off his playing earnings. So he dove in with a lot of success, and now part of his investment strategy is to find ways to give back to communities that need help. Our guest this week is Baron Davis, who, after a long, distinguished NBA career, has become a serial entrepreneur. And his latest investment is UNest, which is a financial technology consumer mobile app. It emerged as a solution for parents and families to learn about saving money for events like attending college. Hey, Baron, how are you? Pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
it. Clearly, you have a very deep background in a number of different sports tech spaces, which is what this show is about. So I'll get into UNest in a moment. But I want to ask you about how you got so involved in entrepreneurship. When did that start for you?
For me, it started early in my career when I had an opportunity to, invest in vitamin water. And I saw, what, being an investor, being an influencer, what that looked like in real time, with a real company. And so, I think that kind of really propelled me to say, hey, if I can find more deals like this, then, I can do a lot better than my agent could.
It feels like that you were at the forefront of this, or one of the people that was getting notoriety for it. And maybe it was more commonplace when you were playing. Obviously now there are a lot of prominent athletes that are involved in investment on any number of different vehicles. Were you kind of alone in that realm, or were there more players that were kind of following your lead?
I always say, there are players that I learned from who are investing and, using their money wisely when they play that I was privy to, either play with or, just have conversations with. And, I think that's what continued to inspire me to want to, invest in companies.
What excites you now? What are you looking for as an investor?
I would say that, one, what excites me is the opportunity to invest in opportunities for the underprivileged, right? And so seeing that and seeing how I can make, a difference in who I'm investing in, the platforms I'm investing in, I think that is the most important thing for me, is really trying to, grow my community of, entrepreneurs, as well as kind of serve the entrepreneurs that haven't been served.
So is this based on experience that you had as a child?
Yeah, I would say that, as well as, I feel like there's a certain level of responsibility now. You know what I mean? And, if I'm in this space, then, there's a certain, way I want to go about doing it to make it make sense, right? For me and the people that I want to see grow, and how I create general wealth for, my community and my people.
Let's talk about UNest for a moment. I have young kids. I have 529 plans for them. Is this not something that is commonplace in all different communities? What attracted this to you?
Well, I think, what happens when you say in all communities is, yes, you do have this access, but it's usually at a bank, right? And and you have to have a great banking relationship, right? The spirit of, banking in our community has not really been, that informational or transactional, as far as, understanding the information around, financial literacy. And so for me, UNest was a great platform to enlighten people of the 529 plan and how you could, manage your own and also learn financial responsibility at the same time, right? And, just kind of growing up, and when I got introduced to the platform, for me, it was like, oh, I can understand this. If I would have done this, my rookie year for, the kids I didn't have at the time, but for my nieces and nephews, right, then it would have given me a better opportunity, right, to educate, right, and their parents and have a better, strategic family plan for college for all the kids, right? And so that's where, when I looked at what Consigna was doing and what the team at UNest was doing, I got super excited because everyone should have a 529 account, right, that have kids. And, people who are hardworking, sometimes it's $20 a month, sometimes it's $10 a month, right, that they can save and sock away. But a lot of times they need to see that, and I think that's the beauty of UNest is we live in a digital age. And so we have the opportunity to go online and see what's happening.
Yeah, it's like a clear financial understanding. This is not taught, I don't think. I mean, even when I grew up in high school, when I went to high school, we didn't have financial literacy. No one explained that saving even $10 a month, what that looks like 30 years down the road.
Right. Now we live in an age where, information travels, right? And everybody has access to the right information. And, I think where I am as an investor is really looking at what tools are going to serve, this next generation and what companies are positioned, to be able to do that.
Support for this podcast comes from AT&T. 5G from AT&T is fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. So, should you switch? Well, historically, those were the reasons new tech was adopted. Neanderthals saw that fire heated things fast and made their caves secure from rampaging woolly mammoths. The ancient Romans saw that the aqueducts were a reliable and fast way to transport water, so they stopped carrying water jugs on their backs and adopted them nationwide. Oh, and 1800s Victorians saw electricity light up rooms fast and be more reliable than candles blowing out, so they stopped bumping into walls and made it nationwide. Today's no different. Switching to AT&T 5G is kind of a no-brainer. I mean, historically speaking, it's smarter than candles, water pots, and hungry dinosaurs. AT&T 5G, it's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan, may not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Let me ask you about podcasting for a moment. We're on one right now. I know you're an investor in Blue Wire. Give me a sense of media since you're interested in it. What do you see the future of sports media? What does that look like?
I think it becomes more personal. I think it becomes more from an insider's perspective. I think podcasting is a great format and place to go. I do think that, digital premium is definitely going to be something that is going to rise in the future. Brands are going to want to tell their story. Everyone has a history and a story to tell now, and we're living in a collector's age. And so when I start thinking about, sports and sports media, it's going to be the subgenres that are going to be far more interesting than just sitting around, watching professional sports, right? And then I think professional sports is going to figure out a way to really be able to stream to your phone and give you all kind of, fun stuff to watch and short form stuff to keep your attention. That's, right on target, right on brand.
I think we're hitting an age too where people are going to literally start watching games differently. We haven't quite gotten there yet. We're getting there. We're close. And there's a lot to that, obviously, with gambling integrations and fantasy integrations and all that stuff. But I think what you're talking about in terms of the intimacy of the experience, it's coming, right? I mean, it's really coming.
Yeah, I think, we built our company Slick on the notion that, when I watch a game, I want to watch a game with somebody who knows what they're talking about, right? I want to watch a game, not in a sports bar, but, at a friend's house, in a barbershop, like that type of setting where it's intimate and just so happen, you'll be able to, watch and get the perspective or, the history from the people who are actually a part of it, who made it happen. And so, this kind of athletes first mentality is really what we do at Slick. And I think a lot of that is going to be, from players that are walking out of the locker room and wanting to have a conversation with their fans to, retired players wanting to share their documentary and their story and figuring out a platform and a format where that works.
Yeah. Listen, my career was built in sports journalism. I was telling your stories, whether you liked it or not, at big platforms like ESPN. That clearly is changing now, and that dynamic is changing now. Where do you see all of these major platforms fitting in to this new universe that you're talking about, where players are taking more control?
Yeah, I think, a lot of the major platforms, they sit in, I always say, in a place of luxury because they get to spend, the most amount of money for stories that the culture, kind of deem on point, or on trend. I think that you're going to see, a lot more acquisitions of kind of like these smaller publishing companies, because the ESPNs and people like that, they're going to have to broaden their audience, right? So that's kind of like what we thought. And, I also feel like, a lot of these smaller production companies and people like that, even athletes, you're going to see them producing more and really investing in, their own brand outside of just, the brand that the team that they play for.
Since you are so kind of heavily in all of this, I'm curious what your thoughts are on esports. Are you invested anywhere there? And do you have any interest in trying to find a role in the esports landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. We have been, we're going to make some announcements in Q1 around esports for what we're doing with Slick. But just kind of looking at, esports as this, kind of this huge industry, right? And really, like, what we like to do is to sit down and figure out how can we play a part and service the culture. And so, just really looking at, is it a platform? Is it a team? Right. But right now we're more so just focused on, building the platform for esports and esports fans, right? So similar to athletes, these people, the people who play games are personalities as well. And so we want to do stuff to bring things like that to life.
I'm perpetually surprised by the size of audience, and maybe I shouldn't be because I've been playing video games since I was a kid, but I wonder if you are, because you played in Madison Square Garden and places like that where 18,000 people showed up to watch you play basketball, and they can fill an arena for League of Legends now. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I kind of liken it to kind of like that Super Bowl feel, right? Where it's an event, right? It's an event for, the super fans of a specific space. And people don't want to miss out, right?
No, they don't.
People do not want to miss out on a good esports event. And so they're not things that that you see, every week or every other day. It's not that sport. It's more event based, and that's why I really like it.
All right, I'll let you go with this, and it's one sports question, and I'm just curious how you feel about how the leagues in general handled the strangest year ever, 2020.
Incredible, right? You look at, when we were all sitting in the house and nobody could move, there was nothing for us to do. It was sports that, kind of breathed the life back in, into the house, right? So, and the NBA was first to shut down. They were, first to start. And, the bubble turned out to be, to me, something that was really thought-provoking and well executed. And so when you think about, for me, when I think about the NBA, I just really think about its leadership and the fact that, the league and the union is aligned and they have both great leaders. And the players are, they took a chance and they were well taken care of. And, you don't see the type of COVID results with the NBA, actually none, that you see with the other major sports.
Baron Davis, thank you so much for joining us. Pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Welcome to your Internet Minute from AT&T Fiber, where we demystify your internet connection. All right, so today I want to talk gaming. The key to winning? Low latency. You see, high latency means a high ping rate, which causes, lagging. And that actually does impact whether you can score that final goal when duking it out online. Okay, so for a winning gaming experience, you want ultra-low latency. Makes sense, right? Ultra-low latency is the result of high upload speeds. Pro tip, you want AT&T Fiber. With 20 times faster upload speeds, AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience than cable. And you're looking at an under 11 millisecond ping rate. So for all you gamers out there, get AT&T Fiber and maximize your gameplay. Unlimited internet data included. No annual contract. Visit att.com/getfiber. And keep tuning in for more Internet Minutes. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds not guaranteed and vary based on combined upload and download speeds versus major cable providers. 1 gig service with uploads at 35 megabits per second. Other factors may impact on game lag. Individual results will vary. Restrictions apply. Check availability at att.com/getfiber.
On the next Future Sport podcast, the speed of content creation meets tools to turn those into quality posts.
For turning stuff around that's time sensitive and that's real time, which is where kind of social and really, mobile phones with good cameras have taken the content space. Brands didn't have the tool to be able to turn that stuff around and still meet their brand guidelines. So
that's Eric Stark, the COO of Slate, which is helping teams create content faster, more efficiently, and with modern quality. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. The Future Sport Podcast is brought to you by 3Advance, developers of sports tech apps that are AI-powered and UX-focused. So if you're looking to create some apps for your startup or your sports biz calls for some artificial or business intelligence, you should check out 3Advance. They're incredible. Go to 3advance.com. That's the number 3advance.com.